All right, good morning, everybody. I wanted to do a simple discussion, well, not really a discussion, but just talk about a couple things of what I noticed myself back when I was still in the cities, even before I realized this whole gang stalking situation that was going on and these illegal experimentations that they've been doing on people as far as, it's all of it is concerned, like the remote neural monitoring, the remote manipulation, the gaslighting, the covert drugging, the constant setups and the constant cover-ups and the overt and covert harassment that goes on a day to day. Um, I wanted to talk about some of the things I noticed in society before that stuff started kicking off. I started to notice one thing, and that was for some reason, like it's I don't know why they were doing it, and I started questioning it too, right? But it seemed very sinister as hell. I mean, not really not it. Well, it's sinister, but somewhat like very covert in a way. Like it was, it's like it was definitely related to the programming situation, and this is precisely what it was. But because unfortunately, some of my peers back when I was younger, they were into this stupid stuff, and I don't even think they even knew what it was or what it actually meant. And when I was younger, they were using the term swag a lot, right? And I couldn't make it like where I was like, where the hell are they getting this stuff from, right? Because I didn't even know what the hell it was, and I know better not to just jump on the bandwagon on the next thing that comes out because I know it's most likely a bunch of bullshit, right? I knew that much because I was around some people who knew, who knew too well back then. So I don't really pay too much mind to it. I don't even use the word or the term, but I don't even go by it. So it's not until several years later the term's mentioned up again, and I'm like, fuck it, I might as well just figure out what this shit means. I'm not gonna go by someone else's word because they might not even know what it means. And then I find out it means it's actually a term going way back into the past, and it was a term for these hidden parties that that these that some people were having, and the term was just an abbreviation for secretly we are gay. That's what it was. So I'm like, okay, but this generation thinks that it's mostly, stated towards a fashion statement. It's not. And then the sagging situation came into the perspective, and you couldn't help but not hear someone talk about that because, well, it was that much of a problem. It was so much of a problem that it was widespread. You know, they had to even come up with laws saying they'll give you a ticket if they catch you doing that. Which I'm not even. I'm actually glad they did that. And then, if that wasn't bad enough, if that wasn't bad enough, and this is it was a good reason why I'm bringing this up. Sexuality, when it comes to certain things, and you could tell this because, like when it comes to people who are joking or people who are either fantasizing about, even the opposite sex, right? For some reason, a lot of this shit is leaning towards anal sex for some reason. And I'm trying to figure out why. Just why? I mean, to each his own on that, but I can't help but to, make connections here when it comes to that. And it seems way too obvious that clearly there's some other shit going on. There's clearly something else that's going on. Because it's no way you're going to have all the. Like, is this so much of a coincidence that all of this just so happened to be put in the, just to be put out there like that? Right? Is it too obvious? Or is it just me? Because honestly, it seems like there's something else going on that's not even being said, and this is what I was talking about when I mentioned like schools. These are massive gathering spots for young adolescents. The colleges, once again, large gathering spots for adults. The sports events, large gathering events for adults. Places where there are large events for to gather people from all around the continent. These areas are specifically used. You best believe these places are used for some type of programming. There's no way they're not gonna gather that. They're gonna have a certain amount of people show up and not have nothing. People, come on, they've been experimenting on the on the populace for so damn long, and seeing all of these unusual things, just and this is what I'm getting at is this is the these are the things I was questioning before I became aware that I was a target individual. Before, like, my targeting became overt. This is the these are some of the topics that I was questioning because and these are the ones that were never uploaded. I never had a channel and I never uploaded anything. These were just blogs I was doing in regards to the situation. I'm gonna go into another topic. I get it that, like, when I hear some other folks who have the same skin tone, I'm not gonna call them black, but when I hear other folks who have the same skin tone as me, right, say, come up with this excuse of why they use the N word, their excuse is this. They're saying, well, like, we're all family, this, that, and the other. I'm like, bullshit. I call complete bullshit, because if that's the case, why use a term? Why use a word at all that is dangerously close to that other word? Why? And to even get rid of that excuse that they have, that we already had a word to use. It was my brother from another mother or my sister from from another mother. It didn't matter what the hell his skin tone was. It didn't matter. And that's, that phrase is unification for all races, not one. It's not segregated anyway. It's unification for everybody. Doesn't matter what the hell your skin tone is. But you see, why is it that they come out with that crummy ass excuse? I'll tell you why. It's programming. It's a programmable nature. The people are being paid off to spread this crap. People are being paid to keep that shit up in the neighborhoods, man. To keep that going, to keep that kind of attitude going, people to just buy into that. That's what it is. And you want to know what's even more effed up? People who look no different than myself, who have the same skin tone, are okay with this, and they know that this is happening. They know people are being programmed. They know people's minds are being twisted and manipulated against their own will, even if they don't even know about it. They know this. And then you see all of these other groups talking about they want peace, yet if they want peace, they want justice. Why is it that the only person's name we hear from them is George Floyd? If they want peace for people who look just like them, right? They look just like me. Why is it that we don't hear anything about the other incidents regarding crimes against people of the same race? And if not that, what about the young adolescents who lose their lives due to crimes and crimes of same racial crimes? Why don't we hear anything about that? Why is it that they always stuck on the same narrative that the media is stuck on? It's for money. It's for money. And people don't give a damn. And what's even more messed up? There are people who are probably in those groups who probably do care about their people. It probably is. Most likely, I'm pretty certain there is. But you see, they don't. It's the lack of information. They don't know. They don't know any better, and they're making the assumption that that group is legit. It's not. Not that. Not Antifa. None of it. Not even QAnon is legit. And you guys never even seen me post any of that guy's stuff. Any of it. I may have mentioned it, but like I'm not. I wasn't dumb enough to support it at all. Like at all. I saw through that, even without even having to look too far into it. I knew it was. I knew it was full of crap. I had my suspicions about it, based on some of the things I heard, because I only just looked into a little bit of it. And then as I'm hearing them talking, right, I'm like, okay, this guy's full of shit. And I'm about to tell you exactly what I've heard. Precisely what I've heard. He's sitting there saying that they basically executed Bill Clinton and Hillary. I don't believe that shit. Dude, I don't believe that at all. No. No. Think about it. Really think outside the box on this. How much crap that the Clintons gotten themselves into, right? How much BS they've involved themselves with, and how much they got away with. You mean to for me to you mean for me to expect that all of a sudden the people who were protecting them just had a certain change of heart? No. Because first off, if they go back on their word, basically there's going to be inner conflict on both sides. And this freaking system looks to look after its own, right? That's just what it is. But these gang stalkers who work for them, it's a completely different story from what I've witnessed. I don't believe they I believe it's even. I don't even care if they're using these weapon systems to enhance these gang stalkers, dude. I don't care. Um, there's a way to get through nanotechnology, by the way, to actually, really mess up the structure of that. And actually, that brings up an even a more a different topic, a more serious one. People, you are already well aware that situations are on the verge of civil war. Here's the problem, though. People don't even know what some of these people out there don't even know what we're really dealing with. They don't. The media is not even talking about not the Niles Melsner case at all. They're not even mentioning it. They're not even talking about the fact of the torture stuff that exists. And I'm telling you, they're only there to talk about what they're paid to talk about, not what's really going on. You got to pay attention to what they're talking, to what's going on, to what they're showing you, and to what they're not showing you. You got to always keep that in mind, because that's their playing card. Remember, every single news station has been known to run from the same script, so you can't trust any one of them. Um, I don't know about the next person, but I just didn't trust staying in the cities, considering everything that they were planning. I mean, I don't mind fighting the damn system at all, but the situation's complicated. Like, you got these people who are just mindless zombies being controlled by this grid, man. People who have been it's so messed up, man. It really is, because people have been doused with nanodust since they were kids, even since they were in the womb of their own mother. Because think about it. The same food that may have had, the stuff that I put on the ingredient lookout list, chances are, unfortunately, that person's mother, including my own mother, most likely was eating that. She didn't know what was really in it because of the lack of knowledge. She didn't know because they weren't just going to come out and tell people this food, is that they put these poisonous ingredients in there that's designed to assimilate and program you. They're not going to just come out and say that. And anybody who would try to do that, they're going to put them on the list. The list to be gang stalked or experimented on, something like that. And either that, or they're just gonna call them, mentally ill. The same calling card that they've been using for years. But I'm telling you, that dude, that card is long since outweighed its use. It's not. I don't even see it being usable anymore. I don't even see how anybody can just call. And there are memes out there for this too. Did you guys know that? There are memes out there, memes that would actually show you, like, let's say, like a truther, right, who's talking about a lot of the stuff that's going on, like the stuff that's being sprayed in the skies and all that. They would basically they got a meme out there, and this is hilarious too. It's very serious, but it's hilarious at the same time, because it's true. They got some memes out there that shows, truthers like us saying that, they call us the people who are calling us paranoid are completely dressed up in these hazmat suits, wearing the mask, everything. Those are the motherfuckers calling us paranoid. They got a meme showing us not wearing that stuff, and then those guys are completely wearing that stuff, and those are the ones who are calling us paranoid. And yet those are the ones who are buying into the fear. The same stuff we were trying to warn people that it's just a bunch of bullshit, for just the desperation to basically try to pretty much grab land, grab and steal land, and grab power as much as they can. The system had, we do. I'll admit, we do need a new system in place. We do, but not the one that this corruptive hidden organization is trying to implement. No, hell no. For one thing, the current system. I mean, look at how many loopholes we got, dude. Look at how much corruption has happened with this current system. Look at how much has happened. We probably do need a new system to make sure that this doesn't happen again. That these corruptive individuals do not slip into the ranks to be able to do this kind of crap again, because what happens as a result is many different people die because of these reckless decisions that they make. Many people suffer, and again, I'm not having any kids in this lifetime. It's just not happening. Not after what I've seen. No, I'm torturing people's kids that are still in the womb. That's the most horrifying thing I've ever even known. Because you can't even defend yourself in that type of situation. You don't even have the, you know, the you don't even have the ability to even know what's going on. You haven't even developed your state of independence or your state of understanding yet. You haven't even seen the light of day yet, and they're already fucking with you with these weapons. And the same could be said for all of us, considering that they've been putting that stuff in the food and that stuff in the sky. They have been tormenting and programming people for years. And these assholes come up with the most crummiest ass excuses to justify what they're doing, but that's full of shit. All of it is. And they know full well it's all crap. Even people who, man, here's how messed up it is. There are people who have found so much out that they don't want nothing to do with this organization, but because of their position, they can't stop. Until now. Because now, at first it was just, just keep going to protect, your own skin, even though it's still kind of selfish of them. But also, it's gotten past that point. It's to a point to where, like, you need to speak up now while you still can, because of what they're doing. Because, if you don't, you're going to have to take that regret with your grave to your grave. And people, regrets don't help you pass on at all. They don't. Something that chains you down, that binds you, that prevents you from passing on, is something that prevents you from getting to heaven. So what happens if you're chained down? You stand that much more of a chance of being, devoured by the devil. Because technically, why do you think they always say, why do you think these gang stalkers do things to trigger negativity so much? I said it once before, and I shall say it again. It's to lower your spiritual vibrations. You got to raise your spiritual vibrations as much as you can. Lowering them the way I see it, it seems like lowering your when they try to lower your spiritual vibration, it seems to put you more in an irritable type of mood. And when you raise your spiritual vibration, it seems to like elevate you from that irritable type of mood. Now, in the irritable type of state, you may find yourself start to swear. You may find yourself start to be more miserable, more more annoyed with things. But when you raise your spiritual vibration, from what I found out, like, you are far away from that. It's like you're more positive than negative there, a heck of a lot more positive. And I think that this whole positive and negative thing has something to do with more than just energy. It seems like the positive energy raises you, and the negative energy lowers you. So, is it a possibility that the positive energy is a key element for our trip to heaven, and that the negative energy is, when you have too much negative energy, basically, it lowers you down to hell. But you still, even with all this said, like, you need to have, you need to maintain like a balance or something, right? I don't know. I got so many questions for that, because either way I look at it, the more I raise when I raise my spiritual vibration, I tend to be more positive and more open-minded and a lot more calm. But when it's lowered, I tend to be more irritable and, not as myself, is what I like to say. And I believe, like, when you're like that, like, it leaves you more vulnerable to this gang stalking tactics, I think that's why, because like, for instance, back when I was in my apartment unit, right, there was this guy that was in a, and I'm telling you, they were watching my every move too, because whenever I started recording, he would shut up, almost like just like that immediately. The guy was basically saying so much negative stuff, but you want to know something? They never got into a conversation with me about it. They would never do that. They would never get into a midst of a conversation about it. You want to know why? Because I would debunk every single bit of it, and I would actually try to figure out, like, well, who the hell are you to be to be saying these things? And for all I know, how is it that this mess followed me all the way over here? And that would put that person, whoever they hired, in jeopardy, because technically that's accessory to a crime, accessory to stalking. This is why people need to start questioning. It doesn't even matter if they don't know it or not. The fact is, this is, and I've been saying, I've given this warning out before. Start questioning this stuff, because don't just get yourself involved with any kind of people, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't. You got to be very careful out there. We've all seen, even online, enough, just more than enough, that these online trolls that be on there try to desperately get your attention, to try to trigger you, try to do something. You want to know what I do? I just tune them out. I ignore them. I don't pay them no attention, because you want to know something. And I can't recall where it was said or who it was that said it, but it was something about God's anointed, that they don't indulge into these perpetrators and what they have to say. They don't label themselves based off the opinions of the workers of iniquity. Basically, they don't do that, and they don't strike to entertain them either. Meaning, they don't indulge themselves in the negative properties of which these perpetrators play offense. In a more obvious sense of speaking, even if these perpetrators play off and say anything that they're gonna say, they don't, God's anointing don't respond to it. They don't play the script. They don't play the game. They seek to just end it and move on, even if that means not even responding. Just remember, you do have the right to remain silent. You don't have to answer any of these idiots. You don't have to talk to them. As an example, in that video, once again, you know, I stated my case to that guy, and I'm gonna use that I'm gonna keep using that as an example, because I think that was one of the best films. I think that's one of the best examples I've gotten out of almost all my footage. I've still yet to upload that one video though, of those guys who were installing that camera. I'm gonna basically try to upload that soon, so you guys can see who they are. Um, but man, though, man, oh man, oh man. Basically, because I know I kind of got off topic. Basically, that guy who was in the hallway away from my apartment, he would constantly just be, either just constantly talking negativity, constantly just bringing up a perpetuated subject that they kept doing. And this is how, again, these people who are up in that same area knew all the research I was finding, all the stuff that I was finding out, every bit of it. The fact that people are being programmed, manipulated into doing certain things in order to basically open up the doorway for these corruptive government officials to, come up with the excuse to do more, when in reality, they're the ones who perpetuated it in the first place. They're the ones who, structured this whole thing. And they do this with actual citizens. This is why you must get away from those extra citizens, because it's doing more harm. It's going to be doing you more harm to be around them. These types of people are an endangerment to themselves as well as the people around them. They don't even have to do anything specifically to you in order for them to be in danger to you. Why? The compliance bullshit that they've been doing, that's a prime example. The fact that you got people who will go out and burn a damn restaurant down to the ground just because they were paid to do it. That's a prime example. People who would infiltrate a group to do all these things is a prime example. Which is why I got out of the city, because I knew it was just going to be, first off, you flooded with too many people, there's too much confusion, and, these mandates and all this other crap doesn't make it any better. You already seen a prime example of people being trapped in their apartments like that, man. And that happened in Australia. I think that was Australia, or I think that was Australia. I'm pretty certain it was. And there were people who died in there. There were people who actually died. I don't know if any. I hope nobody had any babies in there, because unless the woman produces milk herself, but even still, the mother needs nutrients in order to produce that milk. What happens if they're out of food? All these inconsistencies and inconveniences that happen at the drop of a hat that nobody's prepared for. In situations like that I got out of the city, in situations like the adrenochrome, why I will never ever ever have kids in this lifetime, as well as the direct energy torture that goes on, because I know from experience that they've used this on my mother, and I know they went from her to me with these attacks. At the same time, though, it's a very confusing thing, because it's almost as if like they really don't want you to have any offspring, like they don't want you to have that at all. That's how I really feel. Like it's a scenario to where like it's not that I wouldn't want to have bring children into this world, but knowing and from all of my experiences, it's not something I would want to put my own you know to have to deal with. It's not something I would want to put on them at all. They don't deserve any of this. No one does. Nobody does. And the same thing still goes. Nobody gave consent to being programmed. So with that said, how can we trust every single crime with them doing this experimental bullshit? How can we trust that every single crime, and I do mean every single one, that has ever been committed was actually on the terms of that actual person's actual judgment, what they legit chose to do? How can we know if that's a fact, or was that person just programmed to think that was what they wanted, and then they went out and did it? How do we not know that? Project Bluebeam is mass spread. The nanotech of what they spray in these chemtrails are mass spread. Don't be mad. I know this is a very hard topic, a hard thing to say, but we need to be mad at the industry that is doing this, because it may be, considering the amounts of what this technology is capable of, it may be because of what they're doing is the cause of these crimes happening in the first place. I do mean every single crime in the book. It may be their influence and their technology that they have put out there that has caused these problems from the first place. And if you were to take that away, the problems go away with it. They don't want peace, man. They don't want peace. Police don't even want peace. And it's surprising, isn't it? But once you really start to realize why they don't want peace, it starts to make sense. Look, man, a police officer should make money, should be able to make a decent living for their family, even when there's no crime going on. That's how I see it. Because in the end, at least they're on patrol. Even if it's on standby, it's still doing something. It's still standing guard. That's still a job. But they fixed the structure to where, like, you can't make money unless there are actual crimes being committed. So now why do you think they made it like that? So the police would be corrupt. So now that the police have to make sure there's crimes, you best believe that they perpetuate some crimes. I wouldn't be shocked that they actually let out not victims, but criminals themselves. The FBI was caught smuggling, what was that, drugs into the United States. a huge container of cocaine, a huge container that just so happened to accidentally drop from a chopper. And it makes me wonder: was that intentional? Was that by accident? There's no telling with these, with these events that go on. There's no telling at all. And long story short, we don't have it nowhere near as bad as as the people in the third world countries out there, the people who are on the outside of the U.S. We don't have it bad as the people in China. We don't have it bad as the people in Australia, the U.K., and there's other locations too. There's a lot of other locations. I can't remember where it was. I don't know if it was Kenya, but I know their mayor. This bastard actually ordered the officers to attack the damn citizens who were breaking the mandate. Dude, people were being beaten down by police. Regular citizens were being beat down police just for breaking the mandate for leaving their homes. And the reason why they left their homes because they needed food. Don't think that you got it bad just yet, but it's they plan to do whatever they're doing out there. They're planning to bring they're planning on bringing it here. They're going into the way I see it. They're going to they're basically implementing this crap on the most vulnerable locations first to try to break the the structure down. That's what they're doing. They're breaking the whole structure down right now, and then they plan on rolling this other crap out. Now, there's a hell of a lot more citizens than the military, but the problem is that people are the fact that people are waiting. Why are you waiting? You just sitting there it's not that people are letting this happen. It's just that, and I'm talking about the masses who have yet to wake up. Like, why the hell are you just waiting for for this shit to happen? There are people out there fighting to stop this mess. You need to help them. You really do, but who knows? Whatever happens in the next few months or days or years, who knows? But I tell you one thing: there's no way things are going to be calm after this. There's no way in hell that's going to happen. I would love for all of this stuff to just go away, things to be peaceful, actually peaceful, not programmed. But dude, you got to fight for peace. You got to fight for that, and I know that's exactly what you got to do. People out there are so damn greedy, so damn vile, completely unethical. Don't give a damn who dies, who suffers, and who is basically having to suffer at all from all of this mess. They don't care. They don't care. The only the logical solution that they see it is that as long as it's not them, that's it. They don't care whether it's you, your mother, your father, even your children who are suffering at the hands of this monstrosity power structure that's going on. You want to know what I think is really happening in this current times? I believe there's a massive power struggle going on between these corruptive groups. That's what I think. I believe that they are currently fighting over. They're getting so power hungry that they're fighting each other right now. To try to see, because it was even emphasized. This was also emphasized in the Bible too. Like there were several evil rulers who were fighting over for power, and there was one of them who actually reigned supreme above all of them after the fighting was all done. And then it gets to the point to where I believe the rebirth for Jesus happens, and then the whole thing. Unfortunately, people do indeed suffer for a bit. But then, the rebirth for Jesus happens, and then the whole kingdom that was, that caused their suffering comes crumbling down. At least that's how it's supposed to go. I don't believe God blames any of us for being laced with this nanotech. We didn't ask to be programmed. There's no, how the heck would anybody have known? It was people who basically brought this information out to the light, all of this stuff that's related to this whole mind control technology, ways to combat it, ways to detoxify it. Blood has been spilled for that information to get out. Even when it came to the whole thing about changing your I forgot what change it basically. I think it was changing your frequency or something. Changing, to basically make the control structure a lot more difficult for them to use this remote technology on. A lot more difficult, and that was the random number generator. The guy who brought that information out to the light got ran over, but basically got hit by a train and killed. There's been other people too who have brought so much information out. They've given their lives to make sure that the next generation has a fighting chance. And it's up to us to, not let those sacrifices be in vain. I'm proud of everybody who's actually, stood up to this organization, speaking out, you know, actually trying their hardest to put a stop to this mess, spreading awareness. I'm truly am proud of everybody who does that, but I know, especially from experience, that it's not easy dealing with this. It's not. Constantly having somebody else try to basically project their own mindset onto you when you don't even want it. Having someone basically try to, remote control you without, and you want nothing to do with them. There are people out there who have who are so evil that they've got so much money that they don't even know what to do with their time, because they've done everything that it could ever be done, except for this crap that they're doing now. It's gonna be a beautiful day when they pay for all of the stuff that they did. There's no way that God's gonna leave this power, this situation going on as it is. It's just not gonna happen. I think I'm gonna end this video here. I hope everybody's having a wonderful morning, and a wonderful day. As always, minus the targeting. Stay safe, stay strong out there, everybody.